Life Exposed, a unique take on documentary filmmaking and the people who create them. We take you through the director's lens and reveal the lives of everyday New Yorkers, from rockers to toddlers to MMA fighters. Join us on their journey, their life exposed.
Welcome to Life Exposed, where we give you the insight on some of the amazing stories in New York. My name is Crystal Williams, and we've got a collection of stories that will inspire you, determination, willpower, and spirit. My next guest is a man who is deep in his religion. He did a documentary on his pastor of his home church in Brooklyn, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Keston Glasgow. How are you, Keston?
All right.
So, why religion?
Well, ever since I was born, I should say, my parents have always been in religion, so it's something that I kind of grew into. So that's why I chose to do it on religion.
So you can say that you actually are a religious person.
I am religious. I don't always practice the best ways, but I am religious, yes.
Okay, well, why don't we see? We're going to get into the video right now.
No problem.
My name is Jamaica NY. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. Dreams are real, all you have to.
I felt called to the ministry, even though I was only 12. My first sermon was shared in a youth meeting. I might not have said everything correctly, but I had a group of people who were willing to be open and listen to what I had to say.
God has been so good to us, and we praise God for all of you that have come in to worship with us.
I started speaking at my local church. Approximately 100 people worshipped there, and the Reverend Louis H. Goodman provided opportunity for me to share the gospel.
Fourth one. Come on, sing it. When I close my eyes, I think of you.
About 17 years ago, we started New Hope, a group of 12 people, and we found in the early years that there were many people who were just looking on and were probably waiting to see if we would succeed or fail. Now I'm grateful for the people that are around me. We started with 12 and today we are over 400. We started renting from a Lutheran church at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Today we now own 2 properties. The dream that God has given us is to have a worldwide ministry, and we've been able to touch several continents. I've had the chance to minister in India, England, all over the Caribbean. I'll never forget being in Australia, and the National Secretary of the Wesleyan Church in Australia, a gentleman by the name of Keith Murray, had a severe heart condition, and he was anointed with oil and prayed for and was instantly healed. Visiting the sick is very important to me because I continue to try to touch those who are sick, to reach out to them and let them know that we care.
I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away. And be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, 'cause we hope.
The distribution of clothing to the members of the community is a part of our ministry of compassion, ministering not only to the spiritual needs of men and women, but their physical needs. And for many in the community, clothing is essential.
So beautiful.
I've had the support of my wife in the 17 years of ministry that we have been here at New Hope. And my wife has held several key positions in our local church. I love my family, and I am able to do what I do because I have the support of my family.
This is my life. You are so beautiful.
I am very satisfied. I feel very fulfilled. I feel and know that I am living my dream to serve the Lord in a local church as a pastor. Has been the highlight of my life.
Thank you, Lord.
Yo, everybody come get your bounce on, get your bounce on, get your bounce on. Don't be cute.
You know, Keston, it really inspired me how much your pastor was involved in the community.
Yeah, that's something that he really, really likes doing, you know. It's something that's called compassion ministry, and, you know, what that is, he basically gives out food to the less fortunate during the week and on weekends, you know, so that's something that he really likes doing.
There was also a part in the film where he actually had a rack of clothes outside of one of the churches, and he had the youth there picking what they wanted.
Right.
How do you feel about that? Have you ever gave anything?
Well, I must tell you, that was couple of days you find me with some of that clothes on, you know, because people of the public, they give new clothes, they give old clothes, you know. Probably like 2 weeks ago, they actually gave out 500 pairs of new sneakers to the community, you know, so that's, you know, something that he really likes doing, just giving back to the community.
That's good. It seems like he really knows how to help those in need.
Yeah.
I also saw that he started off actually renting a church.
Oh, yeah,
renting
most
a
definitely.
space.
Most definitely.
And only 12 followers, and he actually had 2 churches that he, you know, that he's the pastor at, and he has over 400 followers.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, I've been pleasured to see that the old building, and I want to tell you that he have come a long way. You know, but you know, something that he have built and he's gotten, or God has given it to him. You know, and the church has really grown in people, in size, and they're still doing construction. He wants to go a couple of stories high.
What I learned from actually viewing the film is that he's so deep in his passion for religion, and that he doesn't only minister in New York.
Right.
He went to India, he went outside of the state, and it shows that he's really out there trying to bring people in and try to, you know, save people.
Right.
Your family's very active in the community or in the church?
Yes, my family is very active in the community. You know, they grew up in it, so that's what they know.
Well, thank you for coming.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
My next guest did a very inspiring story on her nephew, who prevailed through his speech impediment with her wonderful sister. Everybody give a warm welcome to Jasmine Gonzalez. Hi, Jasmine, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
So what made you want to do your documentary on your sister and your nephew?
I decided to do a documentary on my sister and my nephew for the simple fact I wanted to see people as, I wanted to see Gio, not his disability. I wanted people to be able to see Giovanni, the boy, and not Giovanni, he has a speech impediment. And with my sister, I wanted to do it, focus on her for the simple fact that every time me and her would have a conversation about my nephew and his speech impediment, she would cry. And I knew it was very hard for her to deal with. So it got to the point that she didn't know how to handle it. And I wanted to show her, your son is strong. Your son is able to move on. Your son is able to keep going. And I think that's what I got from it.
Now, Giovanni was diagnosed with this disability at 2. He's now 7. And you said your sister used to be very emotional. I can tell while watching the video that she was very emotional, but you can see that she built up strength. And the way that she talks about him is just so much pride and enjoyment. How does it feel to have him in your life? Like, I'm sure you look beyond disability.
Yeah, of course I look beyond the disability. My nephew is the world of me. Like, I adore that little boy. He is my little munchie. Like, I love him so much. And it's like, just hearing his voice makes me feel better.
Now, I wouldn't even have known that he had that disability if you guys wouldn't have said it. So it's really rare and even, just hard to tell.
That's pretty much like the point, like the whole point of the film. I didn't want to focus on his disability. I didn't want him to be realized as, okay, Giovanni, you have a speech impediment. That's it. Like, I think that's what a lot of people tend to feel, that you don't get to see the person behind the disability. And like with my film, you saw Giovanni.
You definitely showed that it's more than that. You definitely could tell. Why don't we take a look at your film now?
For the past 6 years, I've raised my son on my own. I haven't been dependent on anyone, not my family, not his father, not on the system. I'm a very determined person, and what I want, I try and go get it. And right now what I want is to better myself, and I want to better my son's life. And when I first started, it was a struggle, doing this for myself. For one, I'm like the only parent that he really has. His dad hasn't really been around for most of his life, and he really hasn't made an effort to really be with him the way he should be with him.
I find myself just filling my time with anything to keep the thought of you from my mind. I'm doing fine, and I'm planning to keep it that way.
What makes my worries different of many other single moms is that he's not your average little boy.
I was showing something, or like that. Sure.
My son, at the age of 2, he was diagnosed with a speech and language delay. He basically wasn't hearing me, he was reading my lips. People would think he's a regular kid. It's just when he speaks and when it's time for him to understand something, you can tell he's not a regular kid. Like if I tell him, go do this, get me that, I have to break it down into steps for him.
See it. Press it.
And being that he is the way that he is, I try my hardest to make him happy because I really want to give him the best. And he's very funny and he makes me laugh all the time. He's very outgoing and he has a wonderful personality. So we're very both stubborn and we want it our way or no way type people. Whatever we want, we go and we get, and Gio is like that. If he wants something, Mommy, I gotta have it, I want it.
I don't want to do that one.
If I see him being able to understand a lot more concepts and understand a lot of things in life, it's changing in how he's speaking. He's learning how to speak in sentences. He's no longer speaking in just words.
The platypus trying to stop that Billy guy. He was the evil trying to rule the world. Perry the platypus, Agent P. His name Agent P. But Billy is a bird. Won't think it's a platypus. No.
I see my son progressing and maturing, and I just see a happy future for us, and I just hope that that's how it works out.
The movie is done. Yeah, bye. Okay.
as you said earlier, your main message, your main thing you wanted to get across to the audience was that Giovanni was more than just a young kid that had a disability. He was just like all the other kids. And I got that. And another thing I got from watching your film is the struggles of a young mother and an independent mother and living with the child and taking care of him and what she had to go through. And it just showed her strength and how much she was involved with him.
Yeah, it's like my sister, as I mentioned before, my sister used to cry every single time she would mention my nephew and a disability. And she just felt like if one day he was normal, she wouldn't have to feel this way. If he wouldn't have to struggle so much and he wouldn't be seen as different. And just hearing that come from her, I wanted her to see Giovanni is still the same little boy that she gave birth to. There's nothing wrong with him. Everything is fine. He's growing up. He's happy. He's enjoying his life. He's very creative. And I really wanted to focus that and see that, to see that through my sister's eyes.
So you would say that you and your sister have a real close relationship?
Yes, I do. Pretty much we do. And the relationship between me and my nephew are a lot closer.
Do you watch him a lot? Is he with you a lot? Do you guys live together?
Yeah, I've been watching him since he was 6 months.
Wow.
I've been babysitting him since he was 6 months, and till now, he even calls me when I'm not home because I've been in school. And he's like, I miss you. When are you going to come home? Like, I'm not going to go to sleep until you get here. And, like, sometimes it breaks my heart, but it's a really good relationship, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
How long can you say that you guys actually had a close relationship? Has it been since he's been born, or you guys always been close? Or
I think since he's been born, because he's actually the only boy in my family. I grew up in a house full of girls, and just to hear over the phone that my sister had a boy, I was the one jumping on the bed like, oh my God, I have a boy. And it's like, I love that little boy. He's close to my heart, and everything about him I enjoy the most. And it's like, okay, this is Gio, and I'm gonna do this, and it's so fun to be with him. And I don't know, it just gives me like a good feeling.
Is he your only, well, you did say that's the only boy in your family, so I'm assuming he's your only nephew. Do you have any nieces?
I have a lot of nephews, but I don't really talk to them.
Okay.
I have a lot of nieces, and only one I do live with, like, I guess you can say she's not really my favorite because she's a brat. So my nephew makes it feel better. Like, half the time, it's like I get along better with the boys in my family than the girls.
What did you learn from doing this project? Were there any obstacles that you faced?
I learned how hard it was working with children. I've never worked with children before, and it's gotten to where my nephew, at times, he would get so tired of the camera, he would put his hand on the lens and say, okay, no more camera. I don't want to be on camera today. And he'll just like hide away every time I take out the camera. So just knowing that kids can be antsy and can get tired as much as you can. Yeah, kids are not easy to work with.
I just thought it was funny when I saw it and he was running. But you know what? That's all the time we have for today, and I thank you for coming. It was a real pleasure meeting you.
Sexy love, the things you do. Oh baby, baby, keep me sprung, keep me running back to you. Oh baby.
It feels kind of good.
My last guest is a young lady who is a sucker for the veterans. And I'm not talking about those military folks. I'm talking about those senior citizens. In her documentary titled Senior Softball, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for June Marie Roca. Hi, June Marie. How are you? So why baseball?
It was not my initial desire to film him. It was someone else that I had in mind, but I did not have access. And Professor Smith, I remember him saying that access is everything. And you can't film in the Long Island Railroad. So my mother-in-law now suggested that, you know, Poppy would be very good because it's senior softball, and who wouldn't be interested in watching that?
So did you think that senior softball was much better to do than youngster softball?
It's not so much that it's better to do, but for their health, I think it's better to do. It's good to have them occupy their time. It's good to do something with your life that, you know, isn't just traveling around the world and wasting your money. You know, this is something they love to do.
Well, let's take a look at your film.
Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
You have a saying in the league that you don't get old from playing ball, you get old when you stop playing ball.
At the old ball game.
A lot of people retire and they have no hobbies. They don't know what to do with their time. When I was 59, I started playing with the senior softball. I signed up and I've been playing ever since. I play in the arc ball pitch where they throw the ball high and it comes in nice and slow. Courtesy runner is people that don't have the legs that can run. Maybe they had hip surgery or knee surgery and they can't run as fast as they used to, so the batter will hit the ball and somebody will run from home to first for him. Just the basic skills that you're able to hit the ball. You got to be able to catch the ball and be able to defend yourself if the ball is hit at you so you don't get hurt. Even though they call it softball, the ball isn't soft, it's pretty hard. If it hits you, it hurts. I come home and I have to put ice on my wounds. You're sitting around, everything stiffens up, but you keep playing, you're out, you're moving all the parts of your body and everything's good. The coach, he makes you do sit-ups and sometimes push-ups, and he lets you do a lap once in a while if it's not too vigorous or it's not too hot. And that's what keeps you busy and it keeps you going. 90% of the players get along well together. Every so often they get a little heated argument and there's a few punches get thrown.
That's good. He was off the bench.
They're like big kids, you know, some of them.
Chicken yacht all over the place.
I know, hundreds of people. Made some good friends through playing ball. We all have the same interests, more or less. Unfortunately, this year we lost 2 players. But, that's a good age. If you can keep playing up to 80, 90 years old, they had a full life. Every year you get a little slower, you get a little sorer, the knees, the shoulder, the wrists. Keep playing as long as the body lets me. As long as I can do it, I'll keep playing.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
The most interesting thing that I learned from watching your film was that they actually had a league for senior citizens to play sports.
Yeah.
Not even just baseball, but sports. Like, I never even know that existed.
Oh yes, it's true. Me as well. I thought that it was just something they do out of hobby, but they actually compete with other people, other seniors. And they have an age group, I believe 60 and above. So there's people ranging from 60 to 80s in there, and they are just as talented. They may be a little bit, weakened over time, but they're not rusty. They know what they're doing.
And it's really good that, senior citizens over the age of 60 have an opportunity to actually go out there and get involved with the community and actually, do things with their peers, because once you retire, there's really not that much things you can do. People, usually assume that they're at home doing nothing, just retired. How did it feel for you to actually be on, there filming while he was playing?
I was mesmerized. I feel tremendous respect for them. And I felt very lazy for myself because, I'm filming them being very active and I can't do half the things that they're doing. They're running around in circles, hitting balls, and it's like, I can do that, but I would rather watch TV or do something else. You know, they're not wasting their time. They're really living life.
And just by watching this, I can tell that you guys had to grow a bond from this. And I'm sure the bond is much closer and better than you guys would have had if you just, just occasionally, have meetings. How does this affect your bond? You being there and knowing and really feeling his passion for baseball.
I definitely saw that he was a warm person, very spontaneous. He did a lot of jokes, and he's a great guy to be around with. He's a great character. And being with him broke the ice. You know, he's now part of my family because I got married to his grandson. Yeah. So he's definitely someone I'd like to see every now and then, Thanksgiving, Christmas. He's part of my life now. He's
72. He runs. He plays.
That's
he's
right.
active. He's everything that you want your grandparents to be.
He's inspirational.
He's involved. He's inspirational.
That's true.
And it's great to hear you say that. How does your husband feel about this?
He loves him just as much as I do. And it's weird to not be, you hear people being embarrassed about their family members or something like that. But my husband is also athletic, and it comes from the family. All their lives they've been, little T-balls, and he plays football, and so does the grandfather. He's very involved. It's not just something he does when he's old. He's been doing this all his life. A lot of sports.
After you actually finished the documentary, have you gone to games? After you finished it?
Not because of the season, but this summer he will be playing, I believe, and they will be outdoors. This is just an indoor thing that I had a chance to film, so I can't wait.
So if you had the chance to film your first choice, which was On the Railroads, this or something different, what would you choose and why?
That's easy. I would choose Poppy right back again. He's so easy to film. He said almost everything I wanted him to say.
Well, thank you for coming, Jim Marie. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, that's all for today. We thank you for watching Life Exposed. I'm your host, Crystal Williams. Thank you, DJ Hazel Eyes, and have a good night.
Yeah.